My name is Kelli, and I'd like to introduce Team 2 of our Culture Project. Our topic is Italy. Our subject of Italy is basic Italian phrases, gender inequality in Italy, popular food and entertainment, business attire, business meeting and workplace etiquette. The first up is Jennifer. She's going to tell us about basic Italian phrases.
My name's Jennifer, and I'm here to talk to you today about some basic Italian phrases. Now, when I say basic Italian phrases, I mean things such as hello or goodbye, how are you, formalities, titles, everything that you would want to include when you are trying to do business in Italy. They do have some formal stuff going on over there, so these things are really good to know. Something that you may want to try if you've got time is maybe taking an Italian language course for beginners. Now, I realize that you may not know about a business trip until maybe a month before you go, and you've got all kinds of stuff going on. You got kids, work, pets, parents, grandparents, whatever the case may be. But if you can find the time and you can take an Italian language course on the fly, you'll be better for it. If it's not your first language, it's not always going to come out right the first time. So you get that chance, definitely look into that. So first off, we're going to talk about making a great impression. Like I said before, Italian people, they're pretty formal people. That's not a bad thing. Nothing wrong with formalities. But you want to make sure that when you're in a business type situation, that you're approaching it really the way that you should and that they would expect. Like I said, making a great impression, try to learn some Italian before you go. Maybe you can and maybe you can't. At least pick up English to Italian dictionary or vice versa. One way to greet a group in a more formal setting is by saying buongiorno for good morning, or buonasera, good afternoon, good evening. When meeting someone for the first time, always address the person with his or her appropriate title. Examples of that include dottore and dottoressa for people that hold a university degree, or avvocato for a lawyer. Not too much different than here in the States, where some people like to be addressed as doctor or judge or whatever the case may be. So we do have some of that stuff going on here, and it's like that there too. There's a couple of things I just want to touch on. When it comes to Italian phrases, what we've been talking about, they're also very big on etiquette. Really, really important in Italy to be on time. They are sticklers for this. Now, I know in the business world that's usually something that we try to maintain, and just business culture as a whole. But in America, we do tend to be a little more laid back and relaxed. So, if you're going to Italy for a business trip, don't relax until after the business meeting is over. Also, the way that they dress, they are very, very, very strict with their fashion, and so just make sure you come dressed to impress, because they're really looking at you and they're judging you on what you wear, basically. So just make sure that you are business ready with your attire. Here are a few more useful Italian phrases for initial introductions and greetings, as well as some helpful networking phrases. These are both the formal and informal ways to say them, which is nice. So, if it's a little bit of a more casual atmosphere, you could go one way, but if it's pretty straight-laced, you could go the other way. When it's time to really get down to business and have that formal meeting, these are some phrases that can really help you out. It's a list of some useful Italian vocabulary words that may come in handy and help things navigate more smoothly. So that is all I have on basic Italian phrases in a business setting, formal or informal. Grazie and ciao.
My heritage is Italian. Ever since I was a girl, I can remember people asking me where I got my brown eyes and my olive complexion. And I always said proudly, I'm Italian. So doing this subject really felt close to my heart, and I was really hoping to gather information that was going to sell you all to go do business in Italy. But I came across some gender inequalities. And gender inequalities between men and women are very severe in Italy, unfortunately. According to the World Economic Forum, 2017 Global Gender Gap Report, 144 countries were studied. Italy ranked 82nd on the list. That's really bad. If you're going to work in politics, education, or health, politics is more like for men. Education, health, and the arts is more for women in Italy, according to the statistics. It has plummeted 32 places in the last 20 months and 41 places since 2015, placing it far behind its Northern European neighbors. According to the World Economic Forum's 2017 Global Gender Gap Report, 62% of Italian workers each day are unpaid. That's not fair. Of course, 8% go unknown, but women should be paid equal pay for equal work. Okay, marches. Women of all ages, ethnic background, wealth status, and education have come together to bring attention to the unfair gender gap. Change is inevitable, however, difficult to apply to a country with such deep history of family traditions. Go ahead. Next one. Women's rights marches have increased, and we hold up signs of solidarity, equal work for equal pay. One area where Italy scores highly for women is education. Women really advance in this country in their education. However, it is divided. Women are more into health, education, arts, and social science degrees, where men are math, science, engineering, and business. So in conclusion, after researching this topic, I have come to the decision that if I'm a woman doing business in Italy, I would most likely be successful in these areas: healthcare, education, arts, and social sciences. Thank you for listening, and I hope you approve of my presentation. Thank you.
Alright, I'm Brady. I'm going to take you through popular Italian foods. Much like the U.S., it is hard to find dishes throughout the entire country that are popular. Popularity is different from city to city based on traditions. First, I'm going to take you through colazione, which is Italian breakfast. Italians seem to take breakfast a lot lighter than Americans do. They're very serious about their coffee and usually will have a pastry along with their coffee in the morning. Some of the pastries are cornetto, which is a smaller version of a croissant, usually has an orange glaze over top of it. You have a crostata, which is also a croissant type pastry, and they usually serve it with a cherry, apricot, or wild berry jam. Next, of course, is pizza. There's two major types of pizza that the Italians enjoy. One is Neapolitan, which has a really thick crust, and the second is Roman, and it's known for its paper-thin crust, just like thin style in America. Botarga, which is known as the Sicilian caviar. What these are is they're little eggs taken from a mullet fish. And this was actually discovered by fishermen many, many years ago before refrigeration. And they found out just because they wanted to preserve their food. The Fiorentina steak. This is a T-bone that is cut from a very specific cow and prepared in a very specific way. These T-bones are cut very thick. Italians say that there's no reason to ask for these well done because it's impossible to cook them all the way through. These cuts can range from 2 to 4 pounds. Next is ribollita. This is a vegetable soup. It's very popular in the Italian countryside. They thicken this soup with bread instead of meat because of the availability and the cheapness. Next is truffles. Truffles is a fungus. It's one of the most sought after and expensive dishes in the world. It's mostly found in the mountains of Umbria and Piedmont, and Italians will actually train their dogs and pigs to hunt out this fungus. Tiramisu, considered Italy's most famous dessert, made from a coffee-soaked sponge cake with mascarpone cheese. Gelato. Gelato's translation is frozen. Gelato is actually a Chinese invention brought over to Italy during the 14th century, and Italy's fell in love with it. There's three main differences between gelato and American ice cream. It's fat, air, and serving temperatures. Panna cotta is translation cooked cream, made from the highest quality cream. It's slightly sweet seasoned, and it's held together with gelatin fish. Cannoli. Cannoli is a Sicilian pastry, meaning little tube. It's fried and sweetened with ricotta, candy fruit, and chocolate bits. Alright, next we'll cover Italian entertainment. Thermal baths. Thermal baths are huge in Italy, dating all the way back to ancient Rome. These hot springs attract thousands of tourists every year, and you can find hundreds of them throughout Italy. Opera. Italy was the birthplace of the opera, and to this day they have hundreds of shows year-round. Wine tasting. Italy is famous for its wine tasting. Some of the more well-known tours include the Chianti wine tour. This tour has many ancient castles that have been turned into wineries. A couple others is the Valpolicella, which means Valley of Many Cellars, and the Montalcino tour. Italy has lots of outdoor activities. They have horseback riding, sailing, skiing, and cycling. Cycling is huge there. It's considered to be a national pastime, and they have several tours that will take you through scenic views like this. Italian nightlife. Italy has a huge nightlife. Most of their towns have many bars and nightclubs, and many of the larger cities have casinos as well. Business attire for men. Fashion is huge in Italy. It's the birthplace of Prada, Gucci, and Armani. Men are expected to wear name brand tailored suits and expensive shoes. Men should usually stick with darker colored suits with ties and undershirts matching. Long sleeves and pants are expected year-round. Men should avoid all accessories except an expensive watch. Make sure that you're always wearing knee-high socks because showing any leg under your pants is unacceptable. And shoes should be pointed or squared with no visible scuffs. Business attire for women. Women are expected to wear suits to meetings or business gatherings. Around the office, dress shirts and skirts are appropriate, but need to remain very professional in appearance. Jewelry is accepted for women in Italy, but make sure that it remains tasteful and flows with the rest of your outfit. Women should wear high heels that are no less than 2 inches. Both men and women. If you want to earn some extra points with Italians, make sure you buy an expensive leather briefcase. And attire for social functions. Social functions are a little more relaxed, but if you're a guy, you should still be expected to wear a suit and jacket, and women should wear elegant dresses.
Hi everyone, I'm Benson, and I'm going to talk to you guys about business etiquette in Italy. So for business meetings, you should expect that they will end and begin late. If you're Italian, then it'll expect to come late, or expect the Italians to come late. But if you are not Italian and you're coming to a business meeting in Italy, then expect to arrive on time, because punctuality is important to them, for you, but if you are Italian, then you can come late. Always start business meetings with friendly talk and friendly chatter to get to know one another. If you start off a business meeting by talking about business right away, then it's seen as weak. So if you start off jumping right into business, then it can be detrimental to the rest of your meeting. So always start by building a relationship with the people you're talking to, and come with a relationship already with those people through contacts or through emailing them or getting to know them before you even meet them in person is very important in Italian business. Don't rush the business meetings. Business in Italy takes a long time. They always go through things very slowly, and it'll take a couple meetings before they even make any decisions. First couple meetings will be spent talking about a certain project or a product that you're discussing, learning about it and figuring out all the different points of view, and then the decision making will take place later. So don't try and rush that in Italy or when working with an Italian partner, because that's not the way that they work. They go very slow and take their time. In daily work, expect everything to run later than it would in America. In America, everything's very quick. In Italy, it's not that way. Everything goes slowly, and expect everything to end late or begin late. Make strict deadlines very clear when working with Italian partners or for an Italian company, or when you're managing over an Italian company. Deadlines need to be very strict, and they need to be clear that they are strict. Otherwise, the Italians might think that it's a flexible deadline and just turn a project in or finish paperwork whenever they get around to it, instead of finishing it when the deadline is. Italians, they multitask very easily and quickly. They go from one thing to the next without much thought, or without being hesitant to move from one thing to the next. They very easily multitask and just quickly go throughout their day. So if you need a project to be done before another, make sure that they know that needs to be the top priority, or else they may move from one thing to the next. Some things never to talk about around your Italian coworkers is politics, because that can just cause some conflict. The mafia or your family in a business setting, those are some things that you should not talk about. Along with, don't criticize Italy or its people. That should just kind of be a general rule, but it would be very impolite, and they would take offense if you were to criticize their country or them as a people. When you're first meeting someone for business meetings or for just in a work setting, handshake is appropriate for the first couple of meetings until you build a relationship, and then a hug or a air kiss starting with the left cheek is appropriate when the Italians show that it is, once a relationship develops. Always address your Italian coworkers, or when you're in Italy, address everyone formally until you're invited to move to a more or less formal first name basis. Resources.